So hello and welcome back to Exploring Azeroth, the Eastern Kingdoms with Beryl. And again, it is just going to be Beryl this week. Next week, when we go back to our exploration, we will probably be using both sisters, Beryl and Onyx, again for the first time in a long time, because we will be moving into an area that is both Horde and Alliance. So we'll be seeing a return of Onyx, but today it will be just Beryl as we explore Deadwind Pass, which is a small and contested area of Azeroth. Well, not even really contested. I mean, yes, it is technically both Horde and Alliance, but it's an area that doesn't see a lot of exploration because it's creepy and there's pretty much nothing there except for one incredibly awesome dungeon, and that's Karazhan. So without further ado, let's go explore the Deadwind Pass. Alright, so we are leaving Duskwood and going into Deadman's Pass. Now, as you can see, as we head into Deadwind Pass, we come to the first section, which is Deadman's Crossing. And it's populated by a bunch of restless spirits. I think that these used to actually be hostile, but now that what you have to watch out for if you are a low-level character are these spiders that are dangling up above. And I do remember back in late Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King, they would fall on your head as you were trying frantically to run through this shortcut to get to the Swamp of Sorrows. And then you got to the Swamp of Sorrows and wondered why on earth you went there, because there really wasn't a lot in Swamp of Sorrows before the Cataclysm revamp. So we're going to approach slowly and really appreciate these trees up here. All of the trees in Deadwind Pass kind of look tortured and look a lot like they have faces. Also, there are corpses that are dangling from these trees, and a skeleton that's at the base of this sign. He didn't get very far. And of course the sign says, "Turn back and abandon hope, all ye who enter here." Which is pretty darn fitting, because this is a creepy, creepy place. Oh, you also have to watch out for these vultures that will just totally get you. Now you come through into the Deadwind Ravine, dodging the sky shadows, the spiders that are still up above you on almost every crossing, and being thoroughly creeped out by the trees. Like I said, there's not a lot here, but there is some stuff. There is a body of water down here, and there's nothing really in it, but I was curious about it, so I followed it all the way from where it starts, back here, where there's nothing but more creepy trees. And I followed it all the way down, because you never know. Blizzard loves to put little Easter eggs in everything, but nothing at least in the water. But it did come up to a really interesting back area that I don't think I've ever explored of Karazhan. And Karazhan is technically the reason that Deadwind Pass is so dead, because it is once the former home of the Archmage Medivh, who built his tower basically on a ley line and then proceeded to warp it. And if you don't know who Medivh is, oh my goodness, he was a great mage who, well, he's the reason that orcs came to Azeroth. He summoned them through the Dark Portal, and did a lot of really terrible things, but his house is pretty darn cool. And like I said, I had never actually gone in this back way and checked out Karazhan. Now, I'm not sure why you would keep a horse and a cow inside of your keep, but there is a skeleton of a horse and a cow here, which is a little creepy, but very, very cool. Then you can also just kind of go up. Skeletons everywhere. This does not seem like a place that you definitely want to set up shop for too long, but hey, you know, the Kirin Tor is here to help, and they've got mages everywhere. And you can just keep on going up, and you've got a couple Kirin Tor mages up here. You've got a battle pet that you can catch. And speaking of battle pets, there is a battle pet trainer that is down here that you can do if you've done the pet battle dailies. And she is one of the master trainers, and she has a team that is a massive pain in the butt, but not impossible to beat. And that is Miss Lydia Acost. She has a elemental type pet and I think 2 undead pets to deal with. And when you beat her, she will give you a pack of pet supplies that usually just has pet bandages or something that does something cosmetic for your pets. Also floating all over, there are arcane eyes that you can catch, and I think it is down inside the Forgotten Crypt, and it's not all the time, but I think once a day you can get restless shadelings. They're a rare spawn pet that you can get in this area, and I'm pretty sure only in this area. They look a lot like these restless spirits, but they're a battle pet that you can get. There's also a abandoned church. Again, a little bit creepy, but I mean, if that is the vibe you are looking for, you could definitely say that Karazhan is your home. And this is also the culmination of the riddle quest to get the Lucid Nightmare mount, which I still have not gotten and really need to. It's a really awesome looking mount that you can get. Now this area here is once the place where the servants that served Medivh in Karazhan lived, and now you can go down. They've been taken over by Legion forces these days, but you can go down and just kind of go through the Master's old wine cellars. It's kind of neat. You just have to watch out for the wandering abominations and things, but you know, shouldn't be too much of an issue as long as you are max level. If you're not, you might run into a few problems, but nothing too bad. But yeah, you can just run through, kind of look at the wine cellar. You can tell that Medivh definitely enjoyed his wine. Also, I'm lagging because I am currently uploading while recording. Because, you know, multitasking. But with my very slow internet, that multitasking will result in lag for us. Thankfully, like I said, this is not the most detailed of all zones. Now, actually, next week, before we go through the Swamp of Sorrows, I might go ahead and do a run through Karazhan. It's been a long time since I've actually done that dungeon. And the entrance to it is right here. There's also a back entrance to it. If I can actually do that without lagging out. There we go. You can go in through the front entrance, or you can go over here and open up the gate and go into the servants' entrance. Not sure what the difference is. We'll probably try them both, because why not? But that'll be next week. Now, the only other thing that is really in this area, there's two more things. There is the Vice, which has a clan of ogres that for some reason decided to live in Deadwind Pass, which is kind of funny when you stop to think about the fact that there really is nothing other than spiders. So these ogres probably are spider-eating ogres. It's a good thing World of Warcraft has several spider recipes, otherwise they would probably starve to death. Don't think that there are even any quests that will send you up to fight these ogres, but they're there. And then one last thing in the area. We'll appreciate Karazhan one last time. It's a beautiful, beautiful dungeon, honestly. Now, the very last thing before we leave the Swamp of Sorrows is the abandoned campsite of a mage, which I do believe is actually a very important lore character, and I'm going to look it up really quick. Alright, I did a quick little Google search and found out a lot about this. So as you go through and you're almost out of the Deadwind Pass, you can see that there's a little area just to the north, and you're like, oh, interesting. So you go up and check it out. And I went the wrong way again, didn't I? Yes, I did. There we go. And you discover Arden's camp. Now, Arden was the leader of a group called the Black Riders. And the Black Riders was a band of salesmen, basically, who made the mistake of trying to sell Medivh fake artifacts. And for that, he cursed them, and they became, I guess, the bane of a lot of low-level players back in the day. I think they're gone now, but as you enter their camp, you can see their campfire's still going, and there's some boots and all sorts of things that you can inspect. It says, the bedding in the tent has been undisturbed for quite some time. And check out the boots. The boots are in surprisingly nice condition for their age. It's odd that they would be left here after all these years. We can check out the compass. The compass is old and weathered with use. It appears to be malfunctioning. The arrow is erratically changing directions, never setting to a true north. So yeah, the band of riders was cursed to eternally gather artifacts for Medivh. And then there's a relic box that contains various magical-looking trinkets and baubles, but upon close inspection, these relics appear to be nothing more than clever forgeries. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and if, like me, you are into RP, this would be a good spot to have a Band of Thieves, because why not? It's already set up as a Band of Thieves area. So that was about it for Deadwind Pass. Hope you enjoyed it. I think next week we will make a dungeon run through Karazhan and poke around in that place, because it is full of so many cool things. Hopefully I don't get lost and stuck doing the chess match, which has always been a reason I don't do Karazhan nearly as often as I should, because it's a cool place with a chance at a mount. So we're all going to cross our fingers that maybe the mount drops when we run it next week. But other than that, sorry this one was so short. There's just not a whole heck of a lot here in Deadwind Pass to really poke around in, except for that camp. And of course, the ever wonderful Karazhan, which we will do a run through of next week. But until then, Thank you as always. Leave me a thumbs up if you want to. It does make me smile. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, because why not? It's free, and I will see you next week. Have a good one.